This is the Today with Tally podcast.
Welcome back to the Today with Tally podcast, folks. We have a great show in store for you today. Look, I'm going to get right to it. I had a friend of mine that has been attacked. John Tiegen, you know him from 13 Hours, Benghazi. A truly honorable man that I've known for quite some time. We are going to sit down with John Tiegen right now, and he's going to set the record straight on what happened in Benghazi, September 11th of 2012. There's veterans that want to help, and there's veterans that want to destroy. Explain that.
So, I mean, I don't really know about the rant that I did on Twitter, but again, a lot of these veterans, I mean, like Tim Kennedy, O'Neill, Sean Ryan, and stuff like that, they're actually out there. They're using their platform. They're trying to help veterans. They're doing a lot of good for veterans. Again, from what I hear, Kennedy's doing some really good stuff for vets. The same with Sean Ryan, and then you got this other group. Again, I don't know who they are, where they came from, but I guess they're like two Delta Force guys and a cop on a podcast. I came across this story. I don't know. I think it was about 4 a.m. When was it? Saturday morning. I think I went off. I think it was
Saturday morning.
And again, I was just scrolling through Fox, just trying to see what's going on in the news. And then I see this story about the Benghazi narrative wasn't true. Pretty much like the guys on the ground lied. They're not telling the truth. And I'm like going, what? So I look into it, and I'm sitting there going at it, and then I'm just hearing what these three dudes have to say, and plus then I read what the reporter guy said about having some inside story about some D-boy guys. Again, I don't know really who has the inside scoop. Either this journalist does or this podcast does. I really don't know. But again, these guys, they can't even get Boone's name correct, and they're kind of laughing about it, thinking it's all funny, sitting there pretty much saying that we lied about the story, that it didn't happen the way we said it happened. Well, it did happen the way we said it happened, because it's our point of view. It's what we saw, what we did, what we heard. So there is no change in that narrative. And again, from what I see, these three guys, all they do is just try to go out there and discredit any veteran who has an influence, it seems like. Any veteran that I guess did more than they did, I'm assuming, is why they're pissed off, and they just try to go out and discredit. Again, I don't know what they said Kennedy lied about, Sean Ryan, or anybody like that. I really don't know, and I really don't care. It is what it is. It's their story that I really don't care. But I'm the type of guy that you're not going to change the narrative of what I saw and what I did, just to make their buddy feel better. Because reading in more to it, what I found out is, I'm assuming it's the Army guy that's trying to come out and say things. Let me see, what did I say his name was? Master Sergeant David Halburner. He got the Distinguished Service Cross for that night. Again, good on him. Kudos, as long as they don't lie about in the citation. But have you read the citation?
Yes, I did. Mm-hmm.
So I read the citation, and now I remember Sarah, she told me about it when they were going to get the award. I was just like, you got to be kidding me. So in the citation, it says they rendered aid under fire. No, they didn't. I was up on the roof for probably about 5 minutes before they even came up on the roof. And I was the one rendering aid, and I was never under fire when I was rendering aid for those 5 minutes. So again, if I wanted to be that superhero guy, why? Yeah, that's awesome. Let's say, I was up there under fire. No, because I wasn't. The truth is the truth. Again, I just think maybe because he is being, I guess, upgraded to the Medal of Honor. So maybe that's why he's coming out trying to change the narrative of the story, that he was under fire. And then even in there, they said they evacuated, maybe what I don't know if it had a number or not, but he helped evacuated unarmed Americans. No, that's not true. Every one of us were armed. You have to be armed. Every CIA employee was armed. They have to go through a qualification course just to be deployed in those areas, so they can be armed. So that, again, two things in their citation are bullshit. So if they want to come out, and these Delta Force guys want to come out on this podcast and sit there and say that we changed the narrative, no, we didn't. We told the truth, unlike what their citation says. So just those two things in that citation are lies. And one of them, again, is being, I sent you the link to it, saying he's being recognized for maybe being upgraded to the Medal of Honor. You know, what we saw at the White House just recently with President Biden giving the Medal of Freedom to these other people, just devalues it. Again, you got two Delta Force guys that don't have the honor, integrity, and the courage to step up and say, no, this is not how it went down. We should not get these awards. They can't even do that. So they want to talk about these Delta Force guys want to sit there and say that we're lying, we have no integrity and stuff. That's what I get out of it. So I'm kind of waiting to see kind of what happens. You know, again, I would love to hear what the Delta Force, their side of the story of why they were there, what they were doing while we were there, why it took them 5 minutes to come out of the building, why they actually threw Ronan Bub off the roof, why they lied to the family of Ronan Bub saying they got them off respectfully off the roof. Yeah, I mean, I would love to hear their side of the story. And again, everybody has a right to their side of the story, but you're not going to fucking change the story. You're not going to change the truth just so you can get the Medal of Honor.
You know, I've always known you to be a man of integrity. And this is, you know, what kind of set me off a little bit is your tweet. And I'm like, man, dude, Tig's being attacked. And Toronto, is it Tonto?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much they're attacking all of us.
Oz and Boone, and so I look at you as a stand-up guy, and I don't know the other three like I know you.
Yeah,
but David Hookstead, a guy on YouTube that has I think that's what he does is he finds stories like this and he kind of stirs the pot a little bit and he gets guys going. And look, we're here today talking about it. So it's working, right? So
well, that's only because I saw it. You know, if I had been searching at 4 o'clock, I probably never seen it.
Yeah. But the thing is that everyone loves a good drama, right? And 12 years later, how can we bring something back? How can we, attack somebody? And like what in David Hookstead says is, look, my Delta guys are stand-up guys. And he says that there will be claims about what really happened coming out soon. So when he says that he's looking to his guys as being stand-up guys, is he looking down upon you and calling you a liar? Basically?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what he's saying.
I watched the video and it's full of subliminal type messaging. And that's what I got out of it. I mean, he didn't show you any respect or any credibility at all from what I saw.
Yep.
And that's just my opinion. At the end of the day, it's like this. You were in Benghazi on September 11th, 2012, correct?
Yep, all night long.
Okay, so why now? Why 12 years later are these two Tier 1 Delta Force operators coming out and trying to debunk your story and calling it false?
So again, it's kind of hard to say if they're actually trying to debunk it, but this guy in this podcast, people, that's what it sounds like. I mean, and we don't really know what the Delta Force guy is going to say. But again, from what I've read, what we heard, it sounds like that's what the goal is going to be. And I don't think it's both of them. I think it's just one of them. Again, that's my opinion. I think it's that the Army Master Sergeant Delta Force guy, because he's being trying to be upgraded to the Medal of Honor. So it's got to show that he did more or so. Again, I don't know. Again, that reporter also put out that, how did what really happened to the ambassador's body, yada, yada, yada. Again, from what I know, from what I saw, from what I heard on the ground and from the actual intelligence community that were dealing with everything, it wasn't him. It was one of the case officers that actually got a hold of the real militia that saved us, that came and got us. And it was that commander in that unit who got us to the airport that went and got the ambassador's body. I was standing right there with the country TL, the linguist, and again, the two Delta Force guys. And I think Hush was there too, our team leader, when the commander said, okay, I can go get the ambassador's body now. and then he left and got the ambassador's body. I didn't hear anything about these Delta Force guys. I never saw them on the phone. Again, maybe they were prior to coming to us. I don't know. But from what I know, it wasn't them. It was, again, the country TL and the linguist and stuff that actually had the commander. Again, our case officer, CIA case officer, is the one who got a hold of this unit. And they're the ones who actually went and got the ambassador's body and brought him back to us.
David Hookstead said it's absolutely insane on what he's hearing about your guys' story here. And he had on a former Delta Force operator by the name of Dave Nielsen, and he called it, and I quote, criminally insane.
Yep.
And he states that his two buddies that are the two Tier 1 Delta Force operators delivered Ambassador Stevens' body back.
No, they didn't.
Okay.
No, they did not. 100% fact. He was brought back in the back of a militia pickup truck where me, Tonto, and one of the Delta Force guys, and I think it was the tally guy, the Marine, we actually lifted up the bed sheet so we could identify his body. And again, I was the only one who saw the ambassador that day alive. None of them did. It was me, so I went over to double check, and he was in the same exact clothing inside the back of this pickup truck from the militia. So they didn't go get the ambassador's body.
All I hear is that these two Delta Force Tier 1 operators came in from a safe place in Tripoli, and they flew into a hornet's nest and basically were there to...
I mean, maybe I wasn't at the airport with them. Maybe they got in a huge firefight there, but from what I know of, probably not. Again, when they came to us, we hadn't been attacked for a few hours. They all went into the command post, and unfortunately, Glenn Doherty's the only one who came out. I mean, wish he would have stayed in the building, because then it probably just wouldn't, maybe it would just been Roan that was killed. But again, he's the only one that came out and tried to help and actually get engaged with all of us. Again, even with the other GRS guys, they never came out either. So I'm not just trying to we're just trying to tell the story of what we saw, what we heard, and what we know. The movie and the book, it's called 13 Hours. I mean, we weren't fighting for 13 hours is what it was. It was 13 hours from the beginning until we took off from Benghazi. So, I mean, it was 8 hours technically. Again, I like the truth, and truth needs to be told. It was about 8 hours. We were pretty much in continuous contact. So again, we were at the airport for quite a few hours, obviously waiting for our flight to get home. Because I think we left the Benghazi, the annex, about 7:30 in the morning. So again, that's how I kind of, but 5:36 is when the last attack happened. So again, I want to be truthful about everything. Again, I don't like glorify. I don't think anything needs to be glorified or exaggerated in this situation. But it was quite a few hours. I get like in the book, in the movie, it wasn't for Oz, me going in and getting Roan out of the burning building wouldn't even been told, because I didn't initially tell the author that. The reason why the author hit me up, because I guess when Roz and Roan were up on the roof talking, Roan told him. So Oz is the one that actually got that part in the book and the movie. So again, I don't try, because to me it was like only I knew it, that I knew of. So that's why am I say something if I'm the only one who knows it? You know what I'm saying? So the reason why it's in there is because another person actually knew about it besides me. So that's the type of person I am. I'm not going to say something if nobody else knows, because why? Then it's just, I'm not going to try to go out and defend myself for something that I have to prove that happened because nobody else saw it. So that's the type of person I am. So it's, watching, to me, losing a brother in combat, that's, it's hard to, the way you signed up for it. It sucks. Yes. Because we all signed up for it. It's a high threat. It is a very high likely that you don't get to go home. So yes, it sucked losing it. But for me, again, when how I lost it was when watching them throw them off the roof the way they did. People can say, they're going to say we're under fire. The mortars could have kept coming in. Say whatever the hell you want to say. You do what you can. In my mind, in my opinion, we weren't under fire. We had about 300 militiamen surrounding our compound, helping us secure so we can get out of there. They had gun trucks. They had, they were organized. They were structured. They had actual training. And to me, with that being there, with them being there, there was time for us to try to get them down respectfully. But it's like they were, I don't know, maybe they were just scared, maybe they were freaked out. But I get it. If we were under fire, we had to get their bodies out of there. We were in duress, and we didn't have the time. Yeah, let's just get them off the roof. Okay. But for them to walk up to me and say, "Hey, we need to go get Ronan. We need to go get the guys off the roof. Can you provide security for me?" So I said, "All right. We have a tow strap that we can use to lower the guys down, and it ain't going to take that much freaking time to put these. You got 3 guys, right?" That's what I'm in my mind. I'm thinking they're like, "Oh, don't worry about it. We got this." I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna backpack them down off the ladder like they did Dave Ubben. So I'm in front of them. I start walking. I start climbing up the ladder. They say, no, wait. You just stay down here, provide security, which makes no fucking sense to me because I can't see through a wall. I got the wall like 5 feet from me and it's 12 feet high. I got the building on to the right of me, which is like 20, 30 feet high. Again, I don't know, but it's pretty, it's a 1.5 story building if you go to the top of the pit. So I'm like going, this is freaking stupid. Why'd you even have me come back here? And then next thing I know, they put Bub up right where I was at pretty much and, just pushed him off the ledge and did the same thing to Roan. And again, they both smacked freaking marble tile, flooring. So it's just like, to me, that's just, we had the time, we had the means, and if they would have slipped out of the cargo or the tow strap, so be it. At least we tried. But again, there was no effort, no nothing. They just threw them up, shoved them off. To me, that's just disrespectful. And again, I would like to know why they did it. What was their mindset? Some people say, well, they were dead. It doesn't matter anyways. Well, to me, it kind of does because it goes to respect of the brothers you fought with. You don't treat them like shit just because they're dead. That's my mindset. I would rather know my brothers would treat me with dignity if I died versus like a fucking trash. Because to me, that's what it seemed like. Now, when I was saying earlier, if you're under fire, you want to get the guys home, you want to get them out of there because you don't want nobody else. Yeah, get them off the roof as fast as you can. I get that, but that wasn't the case at all.
Now, there's been words that are being used to describe you and the other folks that you were with. Truth and truthful and integrity. And, of course, this David Hookstead knows how to bait a hook, Hookstead. And I don't know if it's clicks. I don't know if it's, getting engagement. But to me, I don't know. It's just it's a bad look when you attack somebody like you and your guys that you were there with, that saw it all, that witnessed everything that you witnessed, that you just explained, in these horrific type settings that you guys were fighting in. So with those words, being used, is he telling the truth? Have you sensationalized any of this over the last 12 years?
My story's never changed. That's why I was able to go testify in federal court over, the 2 guys that they captured, because my story never changes. You can't change the truth. The truth is the truth. Again, I can't embellish. Let's say I went off what was in the movie. I could totally embellish. Oh yeah, that's exactly how it happened. Explosions going off. I got nailed in the chest. I did. No, I don't do that. And when I talk, it wasn't like there was no bunch of explosions and stuff like that. There wasn't thousands of guys coming at us at once. I mean, it might have been 20, 30 guys coming at us at the same time. But there 100, 150 people coming at us. That's what the drone said. And that's what they saw in the video footage at the consulate. That's all I know. And again, I say the same thing. I got shot in the side. I didn't get shot in the chest. Did it hurt? Hell freaking yeah. Did I buckle? Hell yeah. Freaking a 7.62 nails you in the side. Even if it hits the plate, it's going to hurt. But I didn't lie down like a little coward. I didn't lose the grenade launcher. I put it back in the vehicle So I guess you could say it was lost, but I knew where it was. So to me, it's not lost. It was left behind because when we left the consulate, the vehicle that the grenade launcher and that we had outside the consulate was just surrounded by dozens of individuals. Instead of us breaking the seal and trying to get the vehicle and we could all get killed right then and there, we just kept going. So again, I don't embellish anything. I mean, it's just the story is the story. It is what it is.
What created this hissing test now between the Anti-Hero podcast, David Hookstead coming out and doing a video on this, and you and your team that were on the ground?
I think it comes down to that Medal of Honor. That's really what I think it comes down to. He wants that Medal of Honor, so he's going to try to disgrace what we said, say that we lied, that he did this, he did that. That's my guess. I don't really know.
From what I've seen, because I've gone through a lot of their, videos, and they just kind of, what's the flavor of the month, right? What's the flavor of the week, the flavor of the day? And, a lot of these American heroes, if you will, are being discredited on a platform that basically says, hey, these guys are not honorable men, and they deserve to be called out for their actions, for not being truthful, for not standing, by the honor, the courage, the commitment, the integrity, the hallmarks of being a Marine, or being a soldier or tier 1 operator, right? But they're attacking you in ways that I probably could have never imagined. And they've attacked other people in the past, and I don't really know the other people's story. I don't really, listen and engage with it because I can't stand it when veterans are attacking other veterans. Now, I'll be the first one to say, if somebody's not telling the truth, and if somebody is being dishonest, especially for monetary gain, to go out and become a speaker and charge $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for a speaking fee because of a fabricated story, yeah, I totally agree with calling those folks out.
Yeah, no, yes, why?
Yeah, and you're an honorable guy. And that's what I know about Tig. I mean, you've always, like I said, you've always been an honorable guy. You've always had those hallmarks, and you've always carried it very well. And you basically walk the walk, you talk the talk. And
so, again, like we didn't, I don't think we really bashed the Delta Force guys. We just kind of, we just told the story, what happened. We don't really, again, they did do it. I mean, again, I give them kudos for getting Dave Ubben off the roof, but that's really all I know that they did. Besides one other time when we were at the airport, and again, I hate bashing people, but the State Department guys, I don't remember if I even told the author this. I don't remember if it's in the book or the movie. But they left Sean Smith's body in the back of a vehicle. They never got him out of the vehicle. So the militia, when we were getting rid of our vehicles, I'm standing next to the truck bed, and it has 2 bodies on it. And I'm sitting there going, they're buckled up, getting ready to take off in the freaking plane, and the vehicles are starting to pull away. And I'm like, where the fuck is Sean Smith's? Where's this other? I didn't know who it was at the time. I'm like, where the hell is this other guy's body? And I'm looking, and I recognize, the Jeep that we had, that we brought to the concert, that I had to sit, me and Boone had to sit on top of Sean Smith's body so we could all get out of there. So that's how I knew what vehicle it was in. If it wasn't for me, that Sean Smith's body never would have got home. So I'm sitting there running, trying to chase this thing down. And again, it was one of the Delta Force guys when I was able to stop the militia guy from totally getting away. I think it was the Tally. I think it was Tally, the blonde guy. I think he had blonde hair. He's the one who helped me carry Sean Smith's body from the vehicle and get him in the bed of the truck. So other than that, I mean, so again, they did do some. That's the only things that I know that they did. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Never really bashed them. I mean, I've kind of bashed them for throwing Ronan Bub off the roof, but that's it. We have no idea what the other GRS guys did too. We say the same thing about them as we do the Delta Force guys. There's no difference in our mind, except for they threw Ronan Bub off the roof. That's it.
Do you have a direct message that you want to send to the people that are watching this, that have seen the Anti-Hero podcast that may be looking at you now as a dishonorable man because of the influence that the Anti-Hero podcast has?
You know, it is what I honestly, I just want to, you know, I'm probably going to do a couple more shows. It's just me getting what I saw, what I did. That's it. If you want to believe them, believe them. I want to hear what they have to say. So I'm probably going to watch it. But, you know, the moment for the first lie comes out, they better stand by. But after that, you know, what is this thing that he said, you know, what did Elon say? You know, if you start blocking, a bunch of people start blocking certain accounts, they'll get demonetized or whatever. That's what I'm saying. When you see a post saying these dudes lied, there you go. I'm saying block them. That's how you end the lies on the other side. I would love to hear what the guy says. They have their point of view, but they're not going to change the fact of what they did.
Now, if I was the podcaster on the Anti-Hero podcast, I would probably honor the respect of you, and I would invite you on the show and say, hey, look, we've heard this, and that. Is it scuttlebutt? Or, you know, is it true? Who's lying and who's not? Why haven't you been invited to go on their podcast to set the record straight?
You know, honestly, I don't know. But again, after I watched that podcast, when they said that people have reached out to them from the Boone camp or whatever, and they kind of laughed it off. No, I'm not wasting my time on it because they don't really give a crap. They do not care about what really happened. Again, they're clickbait. Just like the journalist. Again, when the journalist messaged, I think you saw that little the background, the DM messages. See, I'm not somebody who tries to hide things. I'm gonna put out there exactly how I say things in front or behind the scenes. I do not care. Why? Because we need that. We don't need people say, "Oh, I'm all nice and kind here. I go off here." I'm gonna share both sides. I really do not care, you know, because I guess he put out another thing saying how I whined about it or whatever. I'm not whining. I'm protecting my image and myself. I'm not going to let somebody come out and slander me, podcast journalist. Again, initially, I didn't know who he was. I thought he's part of the podcast, honestly. I did not know, and I really didn't care, and I still don't care. I'll hit them all up. I do not care. So I'm very transparent. Don't think that you're going to message me behind the scenes and I won't share it, even if I go off on you behind the scenes. I'll share every freaking word I say. I do not care. So if the people want to go over there, they want to believe them, then go over there and believe them. I do not care. I have no reason to change the story. I had no reason to lie about the stand down order. Just like the government came after, says we lied about the stand order. They want to slander and defame me, saying that we did it to sell books. No, I didn't. And the new information that came out is that 17 Feb told Bob they were never going to come. They told Bob that night before we left that they were never going to come. And that is why we got told to stand down. So again, I'm not going to embellish anything. There's no reason for it. So if they want to believe these two Delta guys, this anti-Delta podcast, because they took down Kennedy, they took down Ryan, they took down O'Neill, and they went after Marcos Luttrell, go ahead. I do not care. But my story is my story. And if you freaking slander, try to defame me saying I lied, just stand by.
Hey, Brian Talley here with the Today with Talley podcast. Are you looking to advertise with the podcaster? Why not be me? We will help take your business to the next level, folks. It's easy to do. All you got to do is go to briantalley.com. That's briantalley.com. We have 3 packages. We work with any budget, folks. We have the bronze, the silver, and the gold packages to work with you. We work with any budget. If you want to be a show sponsor, contact me, briantalley.com. I look forward to working with you and your business. Now, back to the show. I want to get your take on this. David Hookstead, and I quote from his latest podcast about this, the truth matters. People shouldn't tell lies. What do you have to say about that to David Hookstead?
Damn straight. You shouldn't tell lies. Words have meaning. So, again.
Another thing that I took away from his recent podcast is that he says that the Anti-Hero podcast started talking about this Benghazi incident back in December. And I'm going to quote him again. They've teased it a couple of times. It almost seems as if they're throwing shit on the wall to see what sticks.
maybe that's true. Again, that's why I don't really want to bash the Delta guys, but seeing their award and knowing the citation, there's two lies in the citation that are factual lies. And now knowing that the one guy's he's trying to get upgraded to the Medal of Honor. And again, the podcast is saying that, these guys normally don't ever come out and talk. They're kind of private. He can't come out and say his name and his citation are public information. That's all bullshit.
Yeah. David Hookstead even says that he knows the guys, but he's going to, keep
their name secret. Why? It's public knowledge.
Right.
I mean,
and he does say that a few times, but the Anti-Hero podcast, said it's hard to get tier 1 operators on the podcast. It's hard to get people on a podcast if you're just going to turn around and attack them, right?
Yeah. Again, it's on. So their names are on ausa.org. Talks about again him being upgraded. Military.com did a story on both of them. So their names have been out there since like 2022. To sit there, so this podcast sitting there trying to act like they're so secretive and they can't talk because they're tier 1 cool black ops guys, all bullcrap. Especially if they're retired and their name is attached to Benghazi. So obviously they can come out and talk about it because it's publicly known. So that's all fabricated bullcrap.
I know some folks that served in a combat role that don't ever want to show their face on any podcast, and I know these guys that they're swift, silent, deadly. They want to be in the rear. They don't want to engage in any of this drama, if you will. Again, I think that's to the point of Brent Tucker. With the Anti-Hero podcast says is, look, it's hard to get these guys on the show. And you know what? That's understandable. And that could be, the case as well. But if I'm Brent Tucker, I want to at least throw an olive branch again your way. And I know you said, look, I'm done with with these guys, but sometimes that's what it takes to set the record straight on a lot of things here to say, hey, look, I was wrong about you. And I'm sorry. Do you think that could ever be a possible opportunity between you guys?
I doubt they would.
Why is that?
Because again, they're about attacking the big, I'll say, celebrity heroes. Again, you're going after the guy who killed Bin Laden. You're going after Mark Luttrell. I'm surprised they haven't gone after the American Sniper guy. They're went after Sean Ryan, Ted Kennedy. So that's all they want to do is they just want to attack. That's what it seems like. And for one thing, I looked up a few things. It's like I think what I read was they found people that knew Ted Kennedy, but they didn't find people who were with them during that time frame. During his incident, whatever he embellished or lied about, if he did, I don't really know. Again, I don't know really what they attacked about. Or Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan, you're saying that, the stuff that they put out, he had already put out anyways.
Yeah.
So again, it's like I don't think they really give a crap about. They just want to take people down. Honestly.
Yeah, and I would say, Sarah Adams is extremely credible as well. And she's been on this podcast as well. And, she's a frequent guest on the Sean Ryan show. What does Sarah Adams have to say? Have you spoken to Sarah Adams?
Again, I do when I want to find out, more information about certain things. But again, I try to maintain what I knew and I try to keep to that because that's what I saw, what I did. I don't really like the secondhand stuff. But, like when they found out who the actual attackers were, they found out, a different group attacked the consulate that attacked us at the annex. They found out the mortar team was 17 Feb. So again, just like, the Delta Force guys, the ones that they called was part of the unit that set up the mortar team. So again, it's like she knows a lot because she was the targeter. That was her job to know.
Right.
Well, these dudes might want to be very careful. They want to try to come out and slander us and say that we lied about this and about that. Again, maybe they won't. Maybe it's just because the podcasters are douchebags and the journalist is a douchebag and they're embellishing it for clicks. Either way, we'll probably go after them if that's what they're doing to try to slander and defame us for their profit. and the Delta Boy guys may not even do anything because it's already affecting. I mean, it's already there. I mean, they've already said it that, you know, we pretty much that we lied about what happened that night, and these guys are going to come and tell the truth.
But who will know what the truth is? I mean, really, at the end of the day, the only people that can tell the truth on this is you and your team. And like they say, the 2 tier 1 operators that were there on that night. And again, it's going to become this pissing contest that nobody's going to ever know the truth. And really, 2020 started a lot of this crap, right? We're being lied to here. We're being lied to here. We have a reckless government that's, you know, out gaslighting everybody. Nobody knows the truth anymore about anything. And I think it became such a disturbing topic in this country about what's the truth and what's not the truth. Who is on Facebook and all these social media platforms that are sitting there that are saying misinformation, misinformation, misinformation. We're living in the misinformation age, and it sells, and people become intrigued with it. They see their
the ones that don't look into it.
I'm sorry?
Especially with the ones that don't look into it. Kind of, again, like military.com. I read what they wrote about the D-boys, and I'm just like, wow, they didn't do nothing like that happened there.
Yeah.
But, you know, coming out and speaking out really against these guys, it really sucks. It's a shitty feeling. But for these, again, the podcast, and I'm just going to call them out for these guys to come out and sit there and say that we lied. Just that, again, that's what I'm getting out of it, is that they lied. They're acting like the freaking left, like the liberal left, trying to discredit us for what we did. You know,
it almost sounds to me, it's playing out a lot like what Hillary Clinton did to you guys. And these are, I mean, and these guys that run the anti-hero podcast, I mean, dude, these are hardened combat vets, and I have all the respect in the world for them. And I'm not a combat vet. I don't know what you guys went through. But I could tell you this. I have a lot of respect for anybody that went into combat and took one for the team, and they did the best thing for the country. And they served with honor, with courage, and with commitment and integrity, and all those hallmarks there that make America great, and our military great, and our training great. But what I cannot stand, and it's so disheartening, is exactly what you just said. I hate to even be here right now to talk about these guys. Dude, these are your brothers. Right? Mm-hmm. These are your brothers in arms. And the last thing that we need to have right now in this country, going into this new presidential Donald J. Trump taking office here very soon, and what is going to be making America great again, getting folks to, you know, really appreciate the United States of America again under a new administration and not a regime, and be proud to go serve. You know, military numbers were down dramatically, and now they're increasing because folks want to serve under President Trump because they have confidence in him and the direction of America and where we are going, and to completely separate ourselves from all the tyrannical policies and dictatorship that we've seen in this country. But yet now here we go. We got great military men and women attacking each other. And dude, that's not a good look.
No, it's not. It's again, it's shitty, but I'm not going to let somebody tarnish my image and my name to benefit themselves. I'm just not.
Sure. And I agree. That is not the right thing to do. And that's a horrible stance to take. And I mean, look, what difference at this point does it make, right? That's what Hillary Clinton said.
Right.
What difference at this point does it make? And that right there, it carries a lot of weight, because when I heard that, I think I puked a little bit that day. Some in my mouth and some in the toilet.
It's a huge smack in the face. Oh,
absolutely. And it's disgusting.
Yep. And these guys are no better than what she did right now. No better. So we'll see. Again, Let's see if this guy actually comes on. Maybe they're full of crap and they really don't know him. Maybe they are just trying to stir the hornet's nest. But again, I'll never back down from it.
Well, Hookstead likes that word.
Oh, I'm never giving him any no more I'm not giving none of them more recognition until I see the podcast. And then the first time I hear one lie out of their mouths, I'm going to ask everybody to block them.
Well, he says that they're compiling information.
I already know all the information.
Yeah. Oh no. I again, we're living in this misinformation age. You were there. You know what's going on. You had eyeballs on this. You lived it. And
Sarah's going to town on him, though.
I'm sorry?
Sarah's going to town on him. He's like, "Oh, you want to talk about facts? Here you go." So
you don't think this had anything to do with Peranto? And that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tonto. Yeah. Chris. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I don't know. I don't know when he did the Ryan show. I don't know if this because it came out back in December, and I just now saw it, so that's all I know.
Yeah.
I don't remember when Tonto did I don't remember when Oz or Sarah. I don't remember when they did the podcast. But again, I did watch the part when he talks about and it's true. We only know what we saw and what we heard them do. That's it. And I saw firsthand. There's no secondhand account when it comes to me. I think I made probably out of all of us, all five of us, I was probably the one that had the most interaction with them at the annex. Other than that, it was just again our country team leader. So I don't know. I don't know when did he did the podcast?
I don't know that.
I don't know either.
He could be months out on.
No, I mean, when did Tonto do Sean Ryan's podcast?
I don't know. I know it just dropped. Maybe it wouldn't happen.
I think they may have dropped theirs first. I don't know, because theirs was back in December. I don't know if his was this year or last year. I don't know.
Yeah, it came out right before this whole deal unfolded in Vegas with the Green Beret. And I believe he was on right before that.
Yeah, so I think they must have aired theirs before Tonto.
Wow. That's interesting, man.
I mean, somebody'd have to check. I don't know.
Well, did any of you freeze?
What's that?
Did any of you guys freeze under pressure?
Oh, it was too hot.
Literally, right?
Did we make mistakes? Hell yeah, we made mistakes. I mean, you're not going to do everything perfectly, but did we freeze? No. I mean, we were trying to push forward and we're being held back. So, I mean, I got to the area of the consulate, and I didn't once I knew the guys that were there, that were friendly, that were there when we got there. I immediately went into the attack. There was no hesitation, man. Because again, seconds are hours, seconds are weeks in a firefight. So you have to get, it is what it is. I mean, just kind of like, when I was walking by and I had the saw, and I heard Dave Ubben say we don't have any weapons. So I just gave him my saw, and he's kind of looking like, "What's this for?" "Oh, you need a gun here." And I just kind of took off. Well, again, he didn't really need one. He was explaining to Hush what happened and why they couldn't do anything, because they couldn't do anything because all their guns were locked up. That's what they were talking about. So again, to me, it wasn't really a mistake. Well, I gave somebody up my saw, but I wasn't going to really I wasn't going searching the building anyway. So it was better where I left it. Again, the grenade launcher, was that a mistake? Man, yeah, I wish I would have carried it with me. I wish I wouldn't have, left it back in the vehicle. So again, we all make mistakes, but I'm not going to embellish and I'm like Hollywood. They said I lost a grenade launcher. No, I didn't lose it. It went back in the vehicle because I had no sling for it, because the previous team leader that was there took it off our rifles and there was no sling for it. So it was just like an individual weapon, which was freaking stupid. My biggest mistake also with that, I should have reattached it to my weapon, and I just wasn't thinking. But it is what it is. Can't change it. You just got to adapt, and you just got to be better the next time.
Right. And look, and nothing's ever going to change in my mind. Look, you're an American hero. And I know a lot of folks in the country and around the world that know the story probably look at you the same way that I look at you. And that's with, respect with your name. And again,
you don't know me personally.
Yeah. Yeah. That heroic. I mean, look, you did a lot of heroic actions during this 13 hours, if you will. Is the book accurate? Is the book accurate to the point to where you could stand by it and say, yep, this is 100%? Or is there some things maybe in the book that, I don't know, like maybe the author, the big time publishers wanted to throw a little sensationalism in there to sell more books? Is there anything in the book that would question your testimony any other way of it being a little falsified, or no, this is 100% truth?
So again, I'm very truthful. I've never read the book. So I can't tell you. I know my parts, my big parts in the book are correct. And that's all I read, because I didn't even want, again, a lot of people don't realize, I didn't even want to do the damn book. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to talk. Again, the author, he had to drag a lot of the information out of me because I didn't want to tell it. Again, just like the Roan incident, I didn't want to tell it. Like the prayer on the roof that I said, he still doesn't know it. I didn't tell him really what I said. So actually so I would say, no, it's not 100% correct, because my prayer that I said over Roan and Bub is what he said. Because again, to me, that's between us three and God, nobody else. So no, it's not 100% correct. So there you go. But I have not read it, so I don't know if, again, from my big sections, yes. So when I went and testified, they tried to use a lot of the stuff in there against me, saying this and that and whatever. And I'm like going, I don't know what you're talking about, because I never read the book. So the government attorneys that were on, I guess, my side, I guess, thought it was funny. I thought it was freaking hilarious, because they're like, well, in the book, this, like, I don't know. I haven't read the book. And they're just like, what? Because I'm not. So, but again, from what I know, I trust Tonto, Oz, and OD and Jack be telling, I don't know why they would lie. I mean, maybe they embellish something. I don't know, though. Because again, I wouldn't know anyways, because I wasn't with everybody.
Right. You guys all separated, right?
Yeah. So, I know what myself, Jack, and Roan did going to the consulate. I don't know what Jack and Roan did when we separated. I don't know what Tonto and OD did when they were jumping walls and trying to get to the compound. I don't know what Oz, Roan, and Dave Ubin and Bub were doing up on the roof, because I wasn't there. So even when I tell my story, when I go speaking, I don't tell their story, because that's their story. I tell what I saw, what I did, and that's it.
Out of you and your crew, Peranto, Oz, Boone, who did one of you guys play a larger or more significant role than the other during the 13 hours?
Honestly, I don't really know. The only thing, so again, like I said, I didn't want to come out. I didn't want to do the book. Initially, I was like Jack and Boone. I was just I had a pseudo in there. And it came down to a point where, the Tonto, pretty much everybody's trying to tell me to come out publicly, because I was in all major parts of the book. So I was the one to stand down. I was one over at the consulate. I was one in the tower. I was one on the roof. So they're like, you have to come out, because they're going to really bash these guys if you don't. So I don't know. I guess you could say I did, but I don't know. I think we all had an equal participation. We all did what we needed to do. And that's, again, I think God put us all there, the right team there. Because again, it could have went a whole nother way if a whole nother team was there. I mean, it could have been a team that just never even left the annex. They obeyed the stand down order. You know what I'm saying? There'd be, 7 dead Americans, and maybe more, because maybe they would have attacked even more, because they'd been more emboldened to attack the annex. I don't know. So I think it was just the right guys doing the right thing, and we all did what needed to be done.
I got a question that just transpired. You state that we had the right team, in your eyes, on the ground that day. Now, there are sources that say that those 2 Tier 1 Delta Force operators came in that day. Did you have eyes on them? And if so, when did they actually arrive during this firefight?
First time I saw them was up on the roof after I treated pretty much 4 individuals.
And how far into the 13 hours were you when you actually saw them on the roof?
Shoot. Now you're going to make me do math, man. Hold on. I'm a Marine. So
I use my fingers too all the time, dude.
Maybe 8 hours.
So perhaps they got the last 3-4 hours, maybe 5 hours.
Well, for an attack, honestly, for actually being under fire, they got the last 1 minute 13 seconds. That's how long the final attack lasted.
Now,
13 seconds.
Gotcha. And they were awarded the second highest military honor that you can get, and now they're pushing for the Medal of Honor. Were you ever awarded anything for the sacrifices and the heroic actions that you took in Benghazi?
The CIA agents who went over to the consulate, we got award for heroism. I think that's the highest award for the State Department. I don't know. And then for the CIA, we got a coffee coaster about the size of a CD, and that was it. And again, like I was saying earlier, they gave that to everybody that showed up. They gave it to the cook, they gave it to the maintenance guy, they gave it to all the staff, and all the other CIA guys that came later. So really, honestly, the CIA didn't give us anything. But again, we don't do it for the award. And honestly, that recognition was more of a slap in the face, in my opinion. And even I was actually sitting next to the cook and the maintenance guy, and they said the same thing. They're like, this is such a disgrace.
Right. And look, awards to me, I mean, people buy awards these days.
Yeah.
Look at our government. You got millionaires and billionaires sitting there, handing out awards to each other for doing absolutely nothing.
They wipe their ass right.
Yeah, it's crazy. And with
that being said, I think the Medal of Honor still has pretty good integrity for the most part. There's probably one I would disagree with, but again, those two highest, I think, still need to maintain a high integrity level, in my opinion. But again, the military, I mean, they've given out Purple Hearts for somebody who stubs their toe. They're giving out in what is the name? What's the one the Marine Corps gives out? I can't remember. It's been so freaking long.
What, the Navy Cross?
No, I think the Navy Achievement Medal or something like that. That's
the NAM? Yeah.
Yeah. So they gave a person who baked a cake a NAM. So again, they all
did a really good job at the icing, man. That's art.
So again, it's like they degrade a lot of these awards, and I think at least we can keep the integrity on the top two, hopefully. And what I saw, again, when I read their citation, I'm just like, this is all bullshit. The two things that I saw, two lies: under fire and unarmed civilians. Every one of us were armed. Every freaking one of us. That's why the plane almost didn't take off, because the maintenance guy freaking shot his gun inside the plane. He wasn't unarmed. And again, there was no gunfire when they were up on the roof. There was no mortars coming in when they were up on the roof rendering aid. And it didn't even render aid. All they did was get Dave Ubben off the roof. The people rendering aid was another GRS agent who was a medic, and then the female that was with Oz was the one rendering aid to Oz when he was in there. So I don't know where this aid that these guys did. It was another GRS agent. Actually, I got pictures of it. I found the picture for him, but there's a picture of the another GRS agent in the back of the truck helping Oz. It wasn't the Delta Force guys. So I don't know where this aid came in. They didn't get on the plane and fly to Tripoli with the guys injured. They stayed back with us. So where's this aid that they rendered? I mean, again, they did a good job getting Dave Ubben off the roof. But to me, that's all I saw, and helped me get Sean Smith's body out of the back of a freaking militiaman taken off with him. That's it. That's what I saw. That's all I know that they really did.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to assume that there was an after actions report and meeting that took place shortly thereafter. What happened in your?
Yeah, not with those guys. I remember we got debriefed. When we got out of our debrief, the Delta Force guys were showered and dressed in nice clothing, had their hair all done. That's what I remember.
Did you ever meet the two Delta Force Tier 1 operators? Did you ever shake their hands? Did you guys ever have a conversation?
The only conversation I had with them, I was already kind of told that they had told Roan's wife that they got him off the roof respectfully, and I was scared. Oh man! So I already kind of had a bad taste in my mouth. So they were at the award ceremony. I don't know, again, the coaster ceremony from the CIA, and they came up to me and say, hey, you remember that gunfire that was going on when we were on top of the roof? I'm like, no. The attack was over after the mortars, and they kind of looked at me and then walked away. That was the only interaction I've ever had with them.
Would you ever be able to positively ID them and recognize them?
Probably not. Again, when I saw them initially, they had the battle rattle on, they had their helmet on and stuff like that. And then I think I saw them for like 2 minutes or a really short amount of time when we went to the annex up in Tripoli. And that was really it. And I remember the conversation with those guys at headquarters, but again, you're talking like minutes. And with the TBI, you really I don't recognize like names and stuff like that. And I got to meet people a few times to kind of remember who they are now, especially the newer crap. But I probably wouldn't recognize them, man. Because again, it was so quick. It's like going to SHOT Show and signing books for, thousands of people. And someone comes back, oh, remember me? You signed my book back in 20. No, really?
Right.
I talked to you for 5 minutes. No, I'm not going to remember you.
Right.
So, and again, those guys, after, we got Dave Ubben, I went inside they actually got Dave Ubben off. When they got Dave Ubben off, I was able to get everything, and I had all the weapons with me. I got down off the ladder, and they're still kind of getting Dave Ubben on the stretcher. I went into the command center and tried to go to the back door to open up the back door so they can get Dave Ubben in the backside so they wouldn't have to go through all the staff people. But the mortar kind of jacked up the door. So I just grabbed 4 more tourniquets just in case we got mortar attacked again. And I started walking out, and 2 GRS guys actually brought Dave Ubben in, but started walking by and passed one of them. They're like, hey, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to go back to the tower so we can watch that corner. Like, oh, no, you can't do that, man. Don't go. It's too dangerous. I'm like, too dangerous? Dude, where the hell you been? I've been on that freaking tower for hours. And so we're sitting there actually having a yelling match to where the team leader, the country team leader, actually came out. He's like, what the hell's going on? And he's like, these douchebags, again, I didn't know who they were. I thought they're just regular GRS guys. And you're like, I'm going back over the tower, and they're telling him, no, you can't do that. It's too dangerous. He's like, just wait right here. So again, thanks to the Delta guys, again, our one whole side of our compound was completely unguarded and unprotected. We had no eyes whatsoever. Mm-hmm. It got ugly if it wasn't for that other militia that showed up. Because if we got attacked from the side, we never would have known. Because they'd have been on top of us before we could do anything. Again, I'm just like, there's a lot of things that went bad, and I should have just told them to screw off like we did Bob and just went on the tower anyways. But maybe they thought I was going to go back on the roof or something. I don't know, but I told them I'm going back to the tower. But again, I don't know. So I don't know what a lot of their thinking was.
So you said when I asked how long into the 13 hours when the 2 Tier 1 Delta Force operators showed up, and you basically said, look, they engaged. They may have been there for 3 or 4 hours, but they didn't engage until the last minute and 18 seconds.
I mean, they never engaged the enemy ever. Again, by the time they got up on the roof, the attack had probably been over between 5 and 10 minutes, easily. So again, what they were doing inside, I would love to know. All of us would love to know. We would like to know why the other GRS guys didn't come out and relieve us immediately when they got there, so we can kind of come off and use the piss or shitter, take a get a snack, get a drink, kind of relax. But we don't know. We don't know why nobody did anything.
And out of the 13 hours, what is your best estimate on how many hours, or I don't know, were you engaging with the enemy?
I mean, directly engaging, yeah. I'd probably say it was minutes, not hours.
Yeah.
because we repelled them fairly quickly. I think we were fairly accurate in hitting. Maybe not. I hope I didn't kill anybody, because being maimed in that area would be way worse than being dead. But against the firefights, the last one was 1 minute 13 seconds. I wasn't engaging because I jumped out of the towers, think the mortars are coming towards me, so you can take me out of that firefight. So then you got Roan and Oz up there again. 1 minute 13 seconds, it was over with. And then the other ones, it's hard to judge time. I would say max 20 minutes for each of those two. So that's 40 minutes. Then you have the one over at the consulate. That probably went on for a little while because it took me time to get up. So even then, I'll say 10, 15 minutes. And then the first one, again, they were over there for an hour before we got there. But again, that one was enough time, probably less than a minute, because the first grenade, when they watched the video, the consulate, the first grenade that hit, they all took off. But I still launched 3, so maybe an hour total. For the 13 hours we were engaged. Again, I don't embellish anything. There's no reason to.
Yeah.
Again, I went through maybe 2 full mags, maybe 2.5.
And when you're engaged like that with the enemy, you're probably not, I got to hit the start button here on, on my.
Well, yeah. So the FBI kept asking me in the interview, what time? I'm like, dude, how many? I told you, I put my watch was on my bed, so I lost my damn watch because it's my alarm, so I put it up high so it kind of wake me up. So I had it off. I didn't have it on. Quit asking me about these times, and they still did. So like, whatever. But the only reason why the reason why we know how long the last one lasted is because they saw the firefight begin, the first hit and the last hit. So between the first mortar strike and the last mortar striking was 1 minute 13 seconds. Again, when these Delta Force guys, it's on the CIA's camera. So that's how we know how long the firefight lasted. And in their citation, they said they went up on the roof under fire to render aid. Well, that means you were up on the roof when the mortars hit, you'd be dead. So who's embellishing what?
If this Delta Force Tier 1 operator is awarded the Medal of Honor, will you stand up?
Oh, hell yeah. I already am. I'm going right to Pete.
And who's Pete?
He's the one that's going to be the new Secretary of Defense. It should not even be a thought in this dude's mind that he should get the Medal of Honor. That is a total freaking disrespect to anybody who's actually earned it. And it is earned. It's not given. He did not fucking earn that thing. And when I started seeing red again when I saw that he's getting no. He does not deserve that shit.
Wow. Again, it sucks having conversations like this.
It does. But again, people say, well, dude, there's a lot of douchebag vets out there. There really freaking is. But you would kind of hope like the tier 1, you want to call them tier 1 guys, would not be like that. You think they would have initially the integrity to say, no, we were not under fire when we were up on the roof. I'd be fine with that. But again, in their citation and how they got the award, they're under fire and rendering aid. Bullshit. They evacuated dozens of unarmed civilians. Bullshit. That just degrades that award. It actually degrades the Delta Force's integrity, in my opinion. So these 2 podcast guys that want to sit there and say that, we embellished, we should be ashamed, or I can't remember exactly how they said, why don't you look at your own 2 guys and call them out on their integrity, their honor?
Well, it's just not integrity, it's credibility. And the last thing an elite unit would want, like Delta Force, is to have folks out there, spreading misinformation or, losing, credibility. Because once the credibility is gone, you're not getting it back. And I'm not saying that what they're spreading is real or it's false. That's not my job to do. My job is to talk to you, to get your story out. So folks can, take whatever information that they want from both sides and come up with their best scenario, or choose a side, pick a side. Again, pinning a veteran against a veteran. Again, in my book, it sucks, but they're doing it for a reason, and who knows what that reason is. But they don't like guys out there saying that they did something that they didn't do. And in your case, I can't see anything different than you telling the truth on exactly what happened, just because I know who you are, and I know your character and what you're all about. So are you looking for an apology, a direct apology from the Anti-Hero podcast, as well from David Hookstead?
No, I ain't looking. Nope, I ain't looking for an apology.
Yeah,
just tell the truth. Quit trying to bash people for your likes and try to say that they're lying before you even have the dude on the air, for one. Don't try to slander and defame people, especially when you have zero freaking proof on it. What does that guy say? We need to bring proof. Actually, no, we don't. We brought proof. So,
well, you lived it. I mean, you lived it. You lived it.
Why don't you tell the Delta Force guys they need to bring the proof that we lied, that we embellished.
Speaking of that, you were talking about there was a video camera, and that was on the outside of the building, correct?
Yeah.
So that tells the story, right?
Yeah, it picked up the flashes of the mortars. That's how we know how long it lasted. So it's impossible for them to come up on the roof and render aid under fire when it was already over. Again, the video just proved it. Will they ever release the actual video footage? Probably not. Because I mean, I've seen it. Not the firefight portion of it, but us leaving the compound, having to stop leaving our compound so Hush could get in the vehicle because we're leaving without him. Again, right there proves that we left without orders.
Did you guys have cameras rolling?
No.
On your helmets?
No, we weren't allowed to do that, man.
Because the way I've always pictured this is I always thought that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton were watching this live unfolding, because I remember the scuttlebutt that came out immediately when this whole thing was going down. Hillary Clinton blamed it on some video of some propaganda that was released, and these guys were like angry, right? And that's why they were attacking the embassy. Yeah,
I mean, you had Sarah on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, if we didn't watch that one, it was no video. I mean, it was Al Qaeda attacked. I mean, again, Al Qaeda was on the run and all this stuff. I think I kind of put out a little poem about it, but little thing. I don't know if call it a poem, but a rant, I guess. But it was Al Qaeda that did it. It was like 6 or 7 different Al Qaeda groups that came together, attacked the consulate. They had been planning on that thing for months, and I think that the fact that the ambassador was there and it was a soft target, they took advantage of 9/11. The consulate was attacked, twice prior to that. I was there. The second time was attacked, and we got told to stand down. And at that time, there's only 2 security personnel over at the consulate. So, and then ours got attacked. Actually, again from Sarah, was a whole nother organization. It was actually the ones that the Delta Force guys called to have them escort them to the annex. And again, they're the ones. And the reason why because initially they were supposed to be there when they got there, but the militia wasn't, because they wanted to delay the pickup so they could get the mortar team set up, get them ready and in place. And then when daylight broke, that's when they were conveniently at the airport and brought them to the consulate. And from what I've been told is, the commander wasn't supposed to go into the building, but he did. So that kind of screwed up their mortar attack, because when the mortar started, those guys took off and went to the mortar team and stopped the mortar team from shooting more mortars because their commander was inside the building. So
interesting. All this, even 12 years later, it's you're not running away from the truth, and I feel that you are not sensationalizing anything, or you are not fabricating anything, because all these years later, you've stuck to the same story. It's not like the story's changing, and you live this. And again, I can tell through your testimony that you are indeed telling the truth. Now, I don't know if they're attacking Tig or if they're attacking somebody else that was there that one day, but if they're attacking you, I would have a hard time saying that they have anything to go on here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, so, like, again, people want to constantly blame Hillary for the stand down, why military didn't show up. It wasn't her fault that military showed up. Again, you find out different things. And again, I'll change it to the truth. It was because of the CIA. It was because Bob and Hush were not reporting the attacks. So military was on their way. They did break it. But again, when you're not reporting any more attacks, you think it's over with. So that's why military got turned around at 1:30 in the morning. Again, a lot of stuff seemed to happen at 1:30 in the morning. Hush actually turned down the medical bird from coming to Benghazi, saying, no, we're fine. We don't need any help here. So again, it wasn't. I would love just to blame Hillary and blame Obama. Initially, yes, it was their fault. Don't get me wrong. But in my mind and how I see things, again, the more I know, the more I understand. Ambassador Steve and Sean Smith are dead because of Bob. Roan and Bub are dead because of Bob and Hush, because Bob didn't let us leave when we should have left. We could have saved his life. We could have saved all their lives. And Roan and Bub are dead because they did not report the attacks when we had units coming in. If they had been reporting we're still being attacked, units would have still kept coming, and we would have had the coverage that we freaking needed. So again, I'll set the record straight anytime I find out more information. I never once said that Hillary Clinton told us to stand down. The only stand down that I know that I got that night was from Bob and Bob himself. And now I know why, because 17 Feb said they were never going to come. They told him on the phone, once the attack started, we're not coming to help. That's why Bob told us to stand down, because he knew we were the only ones going over there to help them.
Why would he issue that order?
Dude, I don't know. He lied. He says he never issued it. I heard it. I was looking right at him when he told me.
Well, look, 20-year war on terror. You know how many stories that are out there?
Well, there's ones worse than ours. Way worse than ours.
Oh yeah. And we're living in that click age. People want stories. They want new information. They want to relive stories and this and that and bring them back. I guess when you run out of a lot of content with stories like yours, they're very interesting. And again, a lot of people would definitely line up to hear what both sides here have to say, because, let's face it, this is better than TV, right? And again, if you're running a podcast or, a show of some sort, you want viewership. You want people to come in and listen to what your stories are, especially if you are listening to the Anti-Hero podcast, because what we looked at as American heroes, a lot of folks are now looking down upon them as being liars or, even perhaps recipients of stolen valor, to make it look what they did more heroic than what it actually was, or perhaps giving them some PX medals that they never earned, or, whatever it may be. And again, I'll be the first one to line up and say, stolen valor is not a good thing. And, you definitely want to call that out when you see it. But there's just so many of you guys that have been getting targeted lately, right? CIA target that have been getting targeted lately. And, and I think some of it may be true, out there with everybody that they're discrediting. But a lot of these folks that they are targeting, I think that they are targeting unfairly. And that's just my take on it, And like I said, I'm not a combat vet. I've never seen what you guys have seen. And so for me to even really talk about what it's like to be in your shoes or different scenarios playing out in combat, I can't speak on. But the only thing I can do is have a conversation and allow the people out there that are watching to form their own opinions on what they see as either being credible or non-credible. Is this a man of integrity or is this man a liar? And that's where we're at in 2025.
And that's why I kept being silent, because you let these people go out and talk. Again, I don't know what they're going to say, but hearing the wording and what these guys said, the podcast guys and the journalist dude, again, it sounds like they're coming straight out to discredit us, saying we lied, whatever we lied about. Again, I don't even know what they're going to say we lied about.
Yeah,
I'm just coming here to tell you what I saw, what I know, what they did, and that's it, because that's all I know. I'm not going to embellish anything. There's no reason to lie about them. Why would I lie about them throwing Ronan Bub off the roof? Honestly, think about it. Why would I lie about that? What is that going to gain anybody? It's more painful than it is gain, but it's the freaking truth.
Yeah, it's more of an insult than anything.
So the truth is the truth. That's why I say when people, I wasn't perfect there. I screwed up, probably multiple times. But again, you learn from those screw ups.
Is there anything else out there that you want people to know about you and about what happened during those 13 hours in Benghazi?
Honestly, I mean, I think I've told everything that I know. I don't think I've ever kept anything back. Again, unless it's something that, only me and one other person know and they're not here. That's the only thing I don't say, because there's no way to validate it. So, so I don't.
Validation is everything, right? That's where the credibility lies. And, that's, I guess, again, without knowing, without having video proof of everything that went down, again,
I would love to see
drama. I mean, it's drama. This is drama. Is what's going on here between veteran and combat vet versus combat vet. And it's sad.
No, it is. I mean, I guess the only thing I would say, pretty much what I'm doing nowadays, firearms training over DCF guns here in Colorado Springs. That's pretty much it. It's a fun job. It's not stressful at all. Not like it's going on right now anyways. But that's kind of what I'm doing nowadays, just doing firearms training. So looking for a halfway decent instructor. Again, I'm better at real life stuff than instructing, but still not bad.
Yeah, I've been following what you're doing, and congratulations on, I know you're recently married and remarried, and I mean, you're having a lot of fun at DCF Guns, and I mean, this new TIG has been born. It's like you've been through a lot of crap in your life, and now you finally find some peace, and then this happens. It's like, dude, man, I can't catch a break here.
Well, welcome to 2025, I guess, right?
Yeah,
it's been all year. At least it kicked off.
Well,
year already, so
the best is yet to come, right?
So yeah, again, we'll see what these guys say. Again, maybe it's just these guys just pushed it too hard and they're not. I mean, I hate bashing people, but
yeah.
When I write the citation and then I read that they're going to get the Medal of Honor, to me, it's just so disrespectful for the guys who actually earned it. It really is.
Well, Tig, thank you so much for joining me, man. I sincerely appreciate it. I know your words hold a lot of value and a lot of weight, and you've done the honorable thing, and you've come out, and this is your story. And you're standing up for the truth.
Yep. Silence
is consent. So when you see something being done that in your eyes is untruthful, it is your duty to stand up and to fight back. And that's exactly what you were doing. And I would say that you're doing it in a pretty honorable way.
Yeah. Trying not to do my normal explosive manner. I've kind of calmed down some, so.
Yeah. Well, I can only understand how upset you've probably been over the last couple of days. And, that's, very understandable, especially, as you say, you were telling the truth 100%. Everything is non-fabricated, what they're saying. or what they have yet to say, because I guess they're compiling information against you and all the others that were there. That's just how it is. If people say something, you got to go out and say, no, you are defaming me and I don't deserve this. And you're discrediting me. And, that's not the way to operate. If you have a question, why don't you just call me or get a hold of me or get in contact with me and we can talk about it. And then at that point, if you still think that there's something fabricated here that's bigger, well, then do a podcast about it. But I think that before people come out and draw their own conclusions on these things, I always think that the honorable thing to do is to contact the guy who was there.
I know. And they've had plenty of time to do it.
Yeah,
it's like they're being deceitful and trying to keep it under the table until they could air it. It's what it seems like. Even though they had it out there, but again, when you don't, like you're saying, if you don't even reach out to the other guys who were there,
yeah,
you're being deceitful.
Well, you're packaging up a story that could be building a massive audience, and it's a cliffhanger. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen next? And again, back to David Hookstead. He said that the Anti-Hero podcast started talking about this back in December. Mm-hmm. In his own words, they've teased it a couple of times. Yep. That tells me that they had great engagement on that.
Yep. So,
it's basically shock content. They get reactions. And again, reactions
get views
and clicks. And then people pick up the phone and say, dude, have you heard what's going on? And a lot of the times they will not. And I'm talking about the people that are viewing it. If they look at a certain person, right, as holding great influence in their life, they're going to believe it. Hey, they're going to say, dude, that's the truth, because I follow this guy and I believe what this guy has to say without even hearing the side of the story on the guy that was on the ground engaging in 13 hours of hell.
Yep. And again, then we're out in public because we're still public people and we go out and do things and we run into these type of people. Then guess what? Yeah, we're getting harassed and all kinds of crap because of that.
So you have seen this before out in public.
A lot. So sometimes I ignore it. Sometimes I address it. But again, it's like, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
So
the thing that even sucks more about this is that everything you have done, in not only in your military service, but your contractor service, working with the CIA in Benghazi, and what you've done as a civilian. I don't think a lot of people understand and know that you were on the front lines in 2020 in Colorado, at the Capitol building, protecting the Capitol and having events there to get the truth out and to stand up against the BLM rioters and Antifa and all of this tyranny that was happening in our country. And again, that's something else that, like, dude, all I've done is serve this country. And to be called out the way that we're being called out right now, it is not fair. And I understand that life is not fair. Okay. But again, that would absolutely just make my blood boil, knowing everything I've done for this country, for my country to turn around and to throw these accusations my way, not from just some random civilian, from credible men that have also honorably served this country. And that is what I hate, man. I hate veterans attacking veterans. I just don't like it.
Yep. It's shitty, man. Again, even having to come out and do this and say what I have to say again publicly about the D-boys, it's a shitty feeling. But again, I never would have came out and did anything, said this is how I feel about this. Got the Medal of Honor, whatever. maybe in the Medal of Honor, I probably would have came out and said more. But now that I found out about it, I'm definitely going to say more. Because again, that's a highest award and should be for the highest valor in our nation for the guys to get that. It should not be just handed out.
Well, I'm going to give you one last word here, Tig. Brent Tucker. He is with the Anti-Hero podcast. Okay. What do you have? What is your direct message to Brent Tucker right now?
Yeah, I don't really have a direct message to him. Honest, I really don't. Again, but the way they came out and kind of just literally said that we lied about the book and again, can't even get Boone's name right. I mean, dude, you ain't any better than anybody else, to sit there and just kind of say you're on this freaking high plateau and we're less than you. And, you don't even know the guy's name, but you say that we're lying. You don't even know our names and you say we're lying. So, you'll get it in the end, man. It is what it is.
Yeah. And when I asked that question, not to get a reaction from you, but I want to serve as a conduit. I want to be able to put this story to rest and close it, because the more this goes on, I mean, all we're doing is dishonoring Ambassador Stevens and everybody else life that was taken in Benghazi by saying that's true, that's untrue, that's fabricated. I mean, all it does is it just really reopens those wounds. And, and it takes years and years and years to heal. And then to just rip them right back off, it's just, it's probably a tough one to swallow.
Yeah. Again, it maybe ought to be a little bit more lenient if they didn't just laugh off the fact that Boone had tried to get a hold of them and they just laughed it off. And then in a comment, they said, you guys tried to get a hold of us. You literally talked about it in your freaking podcast back in December. So again, I really don't have nothing to say to him.
I think you're a great guy. And we've had some good laughs over the years, and and you're just solid, man. I mean, you're solid, and again, I respect you. I respect your military service. I respect your contractor service, and I respect everything that you have done for a civilian, not only in the state of Colorado, but in the United States of America, my friend.
I appreciate it, man.
All right, Tig. You have yourself a great day, man, and Godspeed.
Yep, Godspeed.
Well, there you have it, folks. John Tiegen from Benghazi. You know it as 13 Hours, the movie. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Pretty credible? I would say, look, I wasn't there. So only the people that were there and God know. But from what I know of the story, especially through Sarah Adams, who we had on the show, and I've known Tig for a long time, I find them 100% credible in exactly what he said. And in my heart, what Tig just said is the 100% God's honest truth. And why would people want to bring him down and perhaps call him a liar or a man of no integrity? I don't know. I don't know. Other than it's good for podcasts, right? And again, and I've said this during the show, it's unfortunate that this is how veterans are interacting with other veterans today. I speak to hundreds of veterans a month. And they need help within the VA system. They've been railroaded. They need help, and they look at my story about what happened to me in the VA and changing federal law to protect all veterans as a beacon of hope. So when I engage with veterans, it's all, I hear all of their really bad stories, their combat stories, the stories of, post-traumatic stress and everything that's going on in their life, and doctor's appointments being canceled and they can't get the help they need in the VA, or their claims have been denied. And then I have to take that all in and listen to their crazy stories and pack it all in and offer friendship and good information, if you will, and good recommendations on what they should do moving forward, and really just give them that counsel, if you will. And I'm not a lawyer. What I mean by counsel is godly counsel, because they're ignored everywhere they go. They're ignored. And yet we have so many veterans out there, that are talking about other things when we have so many of our brothers and sisters that need help. I always believe that veterans should be lifting other veterans up, right? Veterans helping veterans. But it seems that we've entered this world of a lot of platforms are discrediting a lot of people out there that don't really deserve to be discredited. And I'm not saying every single one. No, I believe that there is a such thing as stolen valor. And when you see it, you need to call it out. You need to stop it. So I do believe on some of these podcasts that they are out and they are working on behalf of the good of the country, and they are there to uphold the standards of the military and to ensure that nobody is saying that they did something without them actually doing it. Especially a guy that's in special forces, and you've got to uphold that credibility in the unit. Say, "Hey, oh no, man, we're going to check you." And I totally understand that 100%. But I just think that what's going on with Tig right now is, I think they got it wrong here. And hopefully, with what Tig said, could set the record straight on what happened on September 11th and September 12th in Benghazi in the year 2012. So, folks, with that, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. It's never been easier. We're on Rumble. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on X, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. All you got to do is just search Today with Tally. It should populate, and go check out one of our 278 episodes that we have done over the last 2 years since I started this podcast. It has been a great experience, and I'm still new at this. I'm still trying to find my way in this. I don't really have a genre, if you will. It's just talking about day-to-day life, perseverance, resilience. A lot of my show is lifting the veteran community up, and really just having on so many different types of people that can offer that real life value to the lives of everyday people. So, folks, with that, this is Brian Talley. Good night, Semper Fi, and God bless.
This is the Today with Tally podcast.